Hey, Facebook, what's going on? Sorry about the technical difficulties, and I think we're still having some difficulties here, but I wanted to just still go live. I apologize, Vince. I don't know. I'm trying to get you on here. Maybe when you do come on, if you're able to, and I know we already like 10 or 15 minutes in here. We were going to just do a short little video, little live. I do appreciate it. Anyway, as I posted earlier, my brother in Christ and business mentor and friend, Vince DelMonte, and I were going to give you a survival guide and talk about COVID-19 and how you can survive over the next coming. Hey, there you are. What's up, man? I'm going to see if I can get you on here. Do apologize. Let's see. Sharing brands, that's good. More quickly, more. Let's go ahead. I'm trying to get you live. I went on desktop. It wasn't working. I know you said it was a little challenging on Instagram, blocked you out or something like that. So I do apologize. Anyway, if I can't get you on, I do appreciate it. I'm going to do the best I can. As I had mentioned and posted earlier. And honestly, as much as I love the guy, I can tell you a whole lot about him. And I know one of the things that I can tell you, if I can get him on, he can say it probably a lot better than me. Let me just see here if I can get you in. I think you're there, but there's a way to do it here. I so apologize. Anyway, if any of you know, if you're on here and you come on and you know how to share screen, it's just not letting me do it on my desktop. And I don't know if it's something kooky. Maybe there's just so many people online. But anyway, I still want to go on and share with you my thoughts. You need to swipe to go over the viewers and left to right, and you can click on me. Yeah, I see you right there. Let me see. Go over. Thank you, man. Thank you. Let's see. Let me see if I can get you on here. Give me 1 second. If not, I'm going to do my best, and I do apologize. I see you viewers, and then you can click on me. I'm trying to do it's not letting me, my man. I don't know why. Anyway, sorry, brother. We're going to have to do a redo on this. Here, let me see if I can go over this. Viewers. Anyway, I do appreciate, hey, can't always have it always put together. So I'm going to do my best right now and see if any other reasons. Sometimes it has to be on the settings. And let's see here if I can do this right now. Cindy, I appreciate you. Hey, thanks for bearing with me and your patience. Do appreciate that. So listen, I don't want to just scrap this all together. I'm going to share with you actually just a little bit of my story. And Vince, I do apologize. And if you need to do something else, you can't get on here. I totally know you got a full schedule of coaching clients like me who are doing what we can to help out, to provide value to our not only clients, but just to the hundreds and maybe even thousands of people that are out there struggling right now. And not just in their health and their fitness, but just trying to make light of what's going on, and not to just make light, to try to understand. And I can tell you, I think one of the things that I wanted to share with you, and to be quite honest, I have to tell you, I wanted to talk about your video to us, to the members of Seven Figure Mastermind. Let me first introduce who my coach is, and I'm going to do my best here to go just live. Again, things aren't always scripted. I don't script things. I think it's more real that way. Hey, continue to watch. All right. So yeah, I'll check that out, and then we'll do it again. This video shows you how. I don't know if we can do it at the moment, but let me tell you, we'll reschedule. Maybe we can do a redo. And for now, I'll give some of my input, and then I'll have you come on if that's okay with you. And again, I apologize that just wasn't working for me. Like I said, I had done it before, but anyway, let me just share with you who Vince DelMonte is. And again, I'm going to share with you who a lot of you may or may not know. A lot of you probably aren't in the fitness industry in the world, but the guy's been in it for a long time. Created seven-figure businesses, and actually somebody I came across paths way back before I owned a gym, when I was doing what was called Fit Body Boot Camp. In fact, I had the benefit to meet not only him, but some other leaders in the industry at that time. And I didn't really even know too much about him, but I know he was making waves on the online space as an online entrepreneur, really kind of like before it ever even started. And again, I don't want to spend this whole time because I want to give you what I told you about surviving, but I can just tell you that I know this guy has gone through the ups and downs and survived a lot of things in business world, beautiful wife and family, 3 beautiful children. And one of the reasons why I honestly seeked out his help was because I got into the online space about 2 years ago. And that turned into me getting to a point where I realized that I couldn't get to the next level without having some sort of an understanding of what that looked like. And what better way to do that than to find a coach who's been there and done that for years prior to many other people out there. And not only that, why I say brother in Christ is because the biggest thing that drew me to the help from Vince was his relationship with Christ and not being afraid to share it with others. And that was something that I was looking for. So our values lined up. And with that, I wanted to share with you, as I take a sip from trying 4 times here to get him live. And again, brother, I totally apologize for you not being on here. Yeah. And totally, if you need to go, if you want to listen, I'm going to be talking about you. But I can tell you, Vince has been a coach of mine for a year now. And I would say before, I want to just kind of preface going into here about surviving COVID-19 is he and I have lived, I'm a little bit older than him, but we've gone through ups and downs. I've heard his personal story, and I'm sure you may have a story right now. I'm sure you've gone through ups and downs, maybe nothing like we're facing right now, but chances are you've had some struggles. Maybe if you're young and you're watching this, but if you're on Facebook, chances are you're not very young anyway. But I will say is that I know his personal story. I know his ups and downs, his business and relationships, all that kind of stuff. I don't know all his business, right? But I do know, and he knows my story, is that we've survived a lot of things. And one of the things I really today, in fact, and honestly wasn't even planning to talk about this. We were going to talk about some other things about protecting your family. Is he came on this morning and I took 3 pages of notes, and he gave, he gave what he needed to his mentees, guys like me, few hundred guys in the 7-figure mastermind who are all online business, fitness business, and some other business entrepreneurs. And, in light of, regardless of maybe we having, say, an edge because we're already in the online space, it's still a struggle. It's still a challenge. We still are human, even though we may be coaches and may even be on the online space. We also have families that we have to handle. We have parents, older. We have relationships. There's kids that are in and out of school, now all out of school, and there's a struggle. And I want to just relate to you right now because I think, again, while I don't have all of the answers, I can tell you that there's some things you can do to protect not only you, but also your family. And I wanted to share with you on this a couple things. As Vince came on this morning, and I'm glad I took some notes because I was going to ask him to share those, but I'm going to share with you what he told us. He said there's some P's. He talked about some P's, about preparing, the first thing. And I say, protect your, practical tips to protect your family. Well, one of the things is preparing. And that could be, you can look at that a number of different ways, but mentally is the most important. And it's no different than if you think without any of this going on, when people come into a space of trying to get healthier, trying to get more fit, trying to maybe lose weight, better themselves for their lives, for their families, is that there's a preparation that goes on. And it may be a mental preparation as well as a physical. Well, I know none of us probably mentally prepared for this, but it doesn't mean we can't start mentally preparing for this right now. So I appreciate some of you other guys, my colleagues on there as well, who are really, pivoting, we're shifting. But the first thing is we're also being mentally prepared, and thankfully for our coach, I say my personal mentoring coach, and I know for a lot of other entrepreneurs, business entrepreneurs in the fitness space, is that we have a coach that we've been able to look to help us prepare. Mentally, physically, financially, all those things. And we have that guidance and we've been able to look to it. So I would say is, people always talk about this whole social distancing. And honestly, I was going to do a separate video on it. We need to do actually the complete opposite. In fact, my mom sent me a message earlier and she said, everybody talks about the social distancing, but you know what? We need more social closeness. We need to get closer socially now more than ever. There's a physical distance, right? Obviously, 6 feet of space, and don't sneeze on me and wash your hands, all that good stuff. But right now it's really important to understand that we need to get socially closer to each other now more than ever. The last thing I think people need is to distance themselves. It's definitely something mentally, but I would say preparation. In preparation, if you don't know how to connect with people, look to maybe your younger generation who know how to do things like share Facebook Lives and things like that. Of course, I didn't ask. I probably should have asked my kid. He would have said, you just do this and this. And again, I do apologize. I couldn't get my personal mentor, Vince, on here, but preparing, that's certainly, now, how you prepare, there's lots of different ways to prepare. And honestly, you can't 100% prepare, but you can at least now going into it realize that you can be really reactive to this, what's going on in the world, to COVID-19, or how your family, or how you're going to handle your kids being home maybe for the next several months, or you can get mentally prepared. And some of that takes leaning on others who've done it, just like I have, and I know a lot of my colleagues have, to lean on our coach to help us mentally prepare in the business world prior to any of this. So that's the first one. Now, one of the second ones is prayer. Now, I told you earlier that Vince came into I came into Vince's space and seeked his help out because I was looking for a business mentor, but I was also looking for somebody with the same values, core values. And one of those is in our faith. The second P, which is really important, and whether you have a lot of faith or maybe even just a little bit of faith, the second thing I'm going to recommend that you do is to pray. And prayer can look a lot of different ways to a lot of different people, and regardless of where you're at, prayer works. I can tell you in my personal journey, and I know for a fact why he said that today, because and I wrote it down, God will always provide for you. His presence is needed now more than ever. And isn't that the truth? And I can tell you, if maybe you strayed away, maybe you feel like you've not been good enough, or you don't feel worthy enough, I can tell you the best part about prayer is you don't need to be any of those things. All you have to do is ask for his help. You don't have to have any eloquent prayer. You don't have to sound like a preacher. You don't have to quote Bible scripture. You can just talk to God right now in your time of need. And I can tell you, I think one of the things that I'm trying to amp up, and it's a challenge, is amping up my time in prayer, because I know in the past, I've seen it happen. I know people have prayed for me. I've seen miracles happen. Yes. I haven't seen bushes burning, or people walking on water, or people getting up who are crippled and get up. But I've seen some miracles in my own life. If you want to know about that journey, you can come talk to me later about that. But ultimately, prayer works. I can just tell you. And if you want me, if you don't even know what that looks like, if you want me to pray for you, reach out, send me a message after, and I'll pray for you. If you have something you need me to, if you're freaking out, if your stress levels are 1,000 plus, and you need somebody to come alongside and help pray for you, I'd be happy to do that for you. That's number two. The other thing is, now he talked about in finances, and obviously for business entrepreneurs, is to protect yourself. And I did mention this, protecting yourself and your family. Well, if it's a financial thing that you might be in crisis mode right now, there may be things that you need to remove off of your plate. One of the things I think he mentioned, I'm not sure it was in this. No, it was actually in one of the last P's. But one of the things, looking at expenses, you may not be able to go on that trip, but you may be able to put that money aside. You may not be going out to eat on the weekends and spending a lot of extra money out, and I feel bad for those restaurants, but I'll say is that could be the money that you put aside. There may be things that you have, luxury things that you have, that you may not need. Maybe it's, putting the supreme gas or the premium gas in your gas tank instead of putting some of the lower grade fuel, whatever it takes. It could be where you just scale back on some of those expenses that you have, maybe the luxuries that you spend on, and as a way, but that's a good way to protect yourself and your family. And it's actually, this is an interesting one I haven't used. The next one, the fourth one, and I'm so glad that I wrote this down. I guess God was looking over my shoulder, because I would have been really kind of hard up, because I was really hoping to get Vince on here. And again, I really, really apologize if you came out where's your guy? Are you talking to yourself and talking to another person? I do appreciate it, and I do apologize on there. But again, I'm human. I make mistakes. The good thing about being human is it's okay to make mistakes. The difference is when you make mistakes and you continue to make the same mistakes, and you continue to make the same mistakes. And one of the things, having Vince in my corner, being a part of this 7-figure mastermind, is understanding when you make mistakes, it's a chance to learn from those mistakes and grow from those mistakes. So right now there's a P word. The next one, the fourth one, is called pivot. And how to pivot is moving. For me, when I pivoted out of the gym industry, what I did is I pivoted away from fitness altogether. In fact, I almost went into ministry, and I actually was looking at a job where I needed to find my own salary for that job. Well, I didn't get that position, but at that same time in ministry, it was actually in surf ministry, believe it or not. And what I actually came, and it took a lot of prayer, and God was saying, Mark, you've been doing fitness for a long time. You know what? Why don't you continue to do what you're doing and just pivot into ministry? Now, he didn't say pivot, right? I'm thinking that now, but I think this may be a great opportunity for you, is where you may want to just shrivel up and hide and close yourself off to the world and crying. You know what? So some of that, it's a reaction and an emotion, and it's okay to have. But I would say is for sustainability. And if you have a family and you want to survive this, if you want to survive and not only survive, to actually thrive through it, is where you're going to need to pivot. You're going to need, look, we're going to need to do it with our kids, moving then into online classes. Our church this past week, and I know for the next several weeks, is transitioning online. You know, I'm very grateful. I know a lot of people bash the internet, bash the kids that are in front of their phones and doing all that stuff. And I was saying, you know what? Thank goodness we have that right now. Can you imagine if we were going through where we're having, all we have is TV and maybe our phone calls, but no internet access, and we couldn't connect the way we do with people? Can you imagine how much far worse? So it's easy to look at how hard it might be right now, but you can also look at it as an opportunity for us all to pivot into a different season of our life. And this pivot might take 6 weeks. It may take 6 months. It may take longer. And you know what? You can always look down the road and say, oh, what's going to happen to my finances? What's going to happen to my world 12 months down the road? And I'm not saying to not prepare, because we talked about that, but also realize you might have to pivot right now. One of the biggest things that I'm learning, and I've learned in this mastermind, is not only to learn from others who have been in the industry like Vince, who are like truly masters of what he does. If you have any kind of online sense and you're looking into getting into the online business space and fitness business space as well, if there's any coaches or trainers out there, I've got the guy for you. I can make an intro to Vince. He has a phenomenal team. He has a team of people that look after myself and a lot of other coaches, like doing lives and weekly trainings and mastermind events. In fact, we have a mastermind event right now that may be postponed, but I know he's working up something that's going to be even better for us. And I'm really encouraged by that. It's so easy for us to maybe get disappointed or to kind of curl up and be like, oh, what's going to happen? Or we can look at for the opportunity to grow and to pivot in there. And I would say, and that's the whole thing. And I think being where I'm at and how I've lived, you know, I've been forced into positions when our gym down the street was, I say, failing. It wasn't growing. And you know, in any business, if it's not growing, it's going to plateau. And if it doesn't grow and it continues to plateau, it ends up failing. And I was in that position for a while. And I'll tell you what, I had to pivot. I had to make some hard decisions, but I can tell you that I've lived through those. I'm okay here now. And I think not that it's hardened me up, it's actually built who I am and is allowing me to make an easier pivot now. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So with that, the last thing, and here's an interesting thing, because his last thing is, while there's a lot of panic going on and problems and issues, this can be an absolute opportunity to profit. And I don't mean in the financial sense, although he was talking to us and how to be able to keep our business and sustain our business. I'm talking in a profit sense. Is think of this. If you're stuck at home for the next couple of months and if you have kids, the teenagers, I'm talking to my moms and dads out there right now. This could be an opportunity to you to get closer to your family. It could be an opportunity to make some ground rules. Like if you have teens, you know, when they come home, they're on their phones, they're doing their work, they kind of in their own space. They don't want mom and dad around and stuff. And I'm going to try and use it. In fact, my son was doing stuff, playing video games or something. He was getting it online for his schoolwork. But then I had him do the lawn and mow the lawn. And I know, you know what, he's seeing that mom and dad need help. And I say for a 16-year-old, it's an opportunity for our children, no matter what age, to learn how to go through those things that I had talked about as well. Don't just try to handle it all yourself. You know, you can ask your kids to level up. They may need to help out now if you have to work from the home. If maybe you're not able to go out and do your daily things, maybe they need some exercise and go run in the backyard, whatever they need to do. Maybe you need to have them help out around the house, help do some cleaning because you're trying to figure out how to do your work now. Prayer, you know, one of the things I'm going to do, and I haven't done it as well, and I wish I could say I was awesome at it, is to get my family in more of a prayer mode, you know, and to protect myself, to talk to my kids about the importance of not being in the big groups now, listening to, you know, what the authority is saying. I have teenagers that can potentially be out and about, but it's a good chance for us to really level up. You know, it's interesting, my coach gives us these bands. He gave us a bunch of bands, and it's one of his slogans, his mottos, if you will, and it's to level up or level off. And it's really truly, in fact, I don't think I have it on here. This is just his branding, the 7-Figure Mastermind. But the level up, you know, this is a chance for us. And it doesn't mean like, oh, we have to like pull up the bootstraps to like try to do this on our own, you know, on our own be just strong-willed, you know. I'm not talking about that. This could be an opportunity right now just to truly level up as parents, as entrepreneurs, as employees, employers, as mentees, as mentors, as parents, as children, as our own parents, to reassure our own. There's some probably parents out there that are older. You have parents like mine, and if you have some that are still around on this earth, they may be even in more struggle because they realize the older people may be more susceptible to something like this. So I just wanted to share with you that, and I hope this helps, and I do apologize for not having the ability to have my coach come on here, and I do appreciate you. In fact, I'm going to make it a point to get this back on and to do this again with my coach, and maybe we can do a part 2 on this. So really, at the end of the day, practical tips, go back. If you haven't watched this, go back and look at them. I do apologize that Vince wasn't able, not that he wasn't able, he was ready, he was there, but I wasn't able to get him on screen. And again, it's just a learning experience for me to learn how to adapt, to learn how to pivot. I'm going to go back and make sure I figure this out the right way at the end of this now. So as we go forward, I want you to know that I'm praying for all of you, whether I don't know you, whether you just come on, maybe like the post, engaged in a comment, maybe you did one of my workouts. Maybe you're looking forward to my next post, and I do appreciate you with that. Feel free. Now is more the time than ever to help protect yourself and your family, to actually not practice social distancing. And I say you can practice physical distancing. Keep yourself physically away from others. But I would say this could be a really good moment for you, especially if you have maybe more time to spend, to socially bring yourself closer to others, to offer a helping hand. It may be where you can cook some food and bring it to your neighbor who can't get out or maybe is afraid to get out. It could be where you haven't been really that good on your personal health, and there's a coach right here. And by the way, we're doing a workout tonight, date night, at 7 o'clock. I didn't even want to make it this about that because I have plenty of posts about that. But tonight, 7 p.m., I think we're going to be right in the backyard. My wife and I are going to do a workout. We typically do date night. And again, increase and improve your physical health. There's no reason why you can't right now, especially if you can't go out to that date night dinner. If you can't take your kids to the ball field because they have practice and they're not doing practice now. This could be the great opportunity for you to start on your health and fitness journey. And if you need help with that, of course, I can do that. The other thing is I have something really exciting coming up, and be sure to be watching me, following me, and all I ask too in return is that you share. When you come in, if you do a workout with me, just share it with your friends. If you want to come on and work out tonight, share with your friends, hey, there's this dude, I don't really know who he is. He was talking about protecting his family and surviving through this COVID-19, but he's some like fitness coach. I think he does online or something like that. Yes, that's what I do. But he's giving these free workouts out. And tonight's going to be a really fun workout. I'm getting my wife involved. We typically work out together on Friday night. If you have an interest and you want to join, come join us. And again, I appreciate you coming on here, taking the time, whether it's just a few minutes. You're catching the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Take care and God bless. We'll see you.